Hi everybody. So we're beginning doing the fairings for the vertical stabilizer. Gone are all the fairings where we could just simply drill holes and cleco and rivet stuff. No. Now we're getting to the fun stuff where we're actually going to be laying down glass, fiberglass. So the top vertical stabilizer fairing, now the vertical stabilizer only has one fairing, it's in the top front, and it matches meets the counterweight fairing, top fairing of the rudder in the top. I'll show a picture of it a little bit later in the video. But with that in place, it's a nice, streamlined, beautiful aerodynamic thing. So to the first steps in this, and we're just going to dive right in, is you need to put the rudder onto the vertical stabilizer, and that way you can gauge where you need to trim the raw fairing, because the fairing comes uncut and it's a little bit extra long. So you're going to cut it, and you're going to match drill and cleco it just like you do for the rest of the fairings. And then once that's in place and you've got it all trimmed so that there's a nice gap between the fairing for the vertical stabilizer and the rudder, then we can start laying some glass down. Now you might be wondering, well, why don't they just come pre-trimmed and pre-glassed that way? Well, that would be nice, but everyone's build's a little bit different. Everyone's measurements a little bit different. You can't just make one piece. You need to give something to someone to do. Actually, now that I think about it, why the hell don't they just make these things pre-done? I mean, they make the top rudder and the bottom rudder are pretty much done. And basically the ones that I'm working with, and you can see me holding it there, it's nothing more than basically a fiberglass taco shell that you need to put a third facet on so that it's nice and stiff. And the reason you have to put that fiberglass on yourself is, when you cleco these fairings in place, what you'll find is that they kind of get pulled outward, right? Because they're made in a form, and that's great, but they're not made the exact widths. And I've talked about this with the wings and everything else. They kind of have to get stretched in place just a little bit. So when this thing is stretched in place, that's when we'll lay the fiberglass down onto it and kind of make it permanently that shape. And you'll see that in a little bit. But I would like to report very happily that the rudder fits perfectly. Again, Van's another home run. Another one of those things I was scared of doing. Oh God, what if I try to put the rudder on and it just doesn't work because I'm a moron and I effed it up? Well, I didn't F it up. Only because Van's kit just works. So here we are, next day. I'm just chatting around there with one of our CFIs, Drew. There's the there's the fuselage, which is a funny story. I've actually got I actually have a video of doing the service bulletin for that. Anyway, well, we'll talk about that later. So what you're seeing here, so I've already gone ahead and made a template. If you look at that piece of aluminum, you can see kind of what looks like a phallic symbol drawn onto it. That's the cross section of the fairing that I need to lay some fiberglass. So I need to make basically a fiberglass sheet that's at least that size. So what I'm doing here, and so here's the intro to fiberglass, right? Fiberglass is nothing more than just fibrous glass material. It's why it's called fiberglass. It's in a weave. And in order to make fiberglass nice and hard, we use a two-part epoxy, which you can see me spreading gently on here. And then you lay more layers on top of it, etc., and it makes a thicker and thicker layer of fiberglass. And then the epoxy cures, and I mean hard, and then you can trim it with all your favorite power tools. And that's the overall general gist of it. So we're going to be doing that for the next few videos, so I'll explain more detail as we go along. The one thing you will see me doing a lot is a lot of these videos are going to be very short, right? Here's the part about fiberglass that sucks. It's a lot of hurry up and wait. Hurry up and wait. Okay, let's go lay down a layer of glass. That might only take 20 minutes. And then we're going to have to just leave it for a day. Which really sucks. So here you see I'm kind of fidgeting with a version of it. So that's the one that I made. Unfortunately, that one was too small. I cut it too small. So I laid up my fiberglass and then it didn't work. So what I'm doing here is I'm cutting some new pieces so that I can try it again. Nice thing about fiberglass is that it's trial and error. There I am playing with my carbon fiber, which you will get see later. So anyway, yep, I'm just making a new version. In the next video, when you see me doing this some more, I'll explain more in depth the process behind it all. But basically, what you just see me here is soaking fiberglass to get new layers. And like I said, I'll explain all that later, so see you all soon.